Hello, welcome everyone to One Butterfly Rose. I know I'm new to everything. I am an empath. I realized after my husband passed last September, when I had went from 125 pounds down to 115, down to 91, drastically. To find out that I was also feeling that he had cancer, not realizing that that's what I was feeling. You know, I had medical issues as well going on at that time, and so I had, been going to the doctors and everything, thinking everything was fine, and I could tell and sense that my kidneys weren't working right, and I told my hematologist, I said, I don't know, it feels like my kidneys are shutting down and I'm dying from the inside out. And that's exactly what I told my hematologist. And he's like, He's like, I checked the kidneys and they look fine. Couldn't understand it. Now, my B12 was low, as well as my iron, and they couldn't understand both. Even though I'm anemic, they knew the iron, but they couldn't understand the B12 being so low. But I was losing a lot of blood, so that could have been why, and that's what they assumed. So I had to get infusions and things like that. In which process, my husband was getting worse. My youngest had to go into the hospital, and so my husband yet again held off going to the doctors until it got too bad. Once it got too bad, he was by this point coughing up blood, and by the time he was done, we took him to the hospital. They thought that it could have been related to a previous incident back in 2018 where he had a pulmonary embolism. However, it was not. They chalked it up as, no big deal, check with your primary doctor. And then I didn't trust it, so I took him to another hospital, which, if you have a husband, you would know, men are very difficult to get into the doctors. And so I then had complications trying to get him in. So we go to the second one finally. And as we're in the second one, they tell us the exact same thing. They send him out the door, just telling him to go ahead and check with his primary care physician and, let him go. Although he was coughing up a lot of blood, he had blood in his urine, and wasn't looking good. Things got real bad. So by mid-August, we went back to the emergency room. And at this point, they did full CT scan. So it wasn't just on his upper abdomen, it was his lower abdomen also. At which time, they realized, oh shoot, now he's got kidney cancer. Because now it's in his kidneys, his liver, and his lungs. And they didn't know where it started up first until they did the biopsy on his liver. After that, they said there was no hope. It had metastasized, and therefore we couldn't save him. The only thing we could do is a little chemo to hold the process down, but the chemo date was the 11th of September, and it never happened. He passed on our daughter's 19th birthday of the 9th of September. So, 2 days prior to his chemo date, he passed. So, in that process, I went through a lot of grief for the year. Complete year. And in that process, it was like I had an awakening. I realized my past. I realized my husband was repeated. That we lived this life once before. And I thought that I could change things. When realizing now I couldn't have changed anything. I've also learned a lot more now, because now I'm learning the dynamics of being narcissistic. However, this is the problem. I don't think people realize that, yes, you may have someone in your family that may truly be a narcissist, or you may have someone in your family that may have been abused by a narcissist who had adapted some of those are narcissistic tendencies. And therefore, because they adapted those tendencies, they ended up portraying that onto everyone else that led below them. And I mean below them as anyone they felt below them. So whether or not it be children, friends, family, anyone they felt that was inferior to them, they would treat as that. So, I grew up in a rough household. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I did have narcissistic tendencies in my household. A lot of childhood trauma. In which case, that's what I'm learning to heal now. And it's because it led me to my husband that I had once before. And for those that may or may not believe in past lives, we do have our soul. Our soul doesn't die when we die. It does survive. And we do move on to a higher power. So most people who may believe that may not be the case, or that our souls don't evolve, that is not the case. We do. We learn every day, all the time. There's always something new that you can learn every single day. You just got to open your mind to learn. Now, that being said, it's what you learn and how you use it. Now, you can learn something and use it in a profound way, which would help lead you on that path of righteousness, or you can use it in a negative light. Every action has a reaction. We all know that. So it's a matter of what reaction do you want. Do you want a positive reaction in your life, or do you want something that's going to drag you down and constantly be negative? In my eyes, I want to change my life. I want it for the better. I want to change it for my children's lives, and so on. So therefore, that's what I'm out to do. I will, and I plan to be able to have seminars to help teach as many people that would be willing to learn on how to do this process. And those that'll watch, I will transform you and help you along the way. Permitting you guys want that guidance. It's just up to you to make that choice. Again, we all learn on our own timeline. So you can't force it. You can't make somebody learn. And if you tell somebody, me being an empath, if I was to go and tell someone their issues, then I'm not helping them. I need to help them see it for themselves, not for me to tell you what your issues are. But I will help you guide. I will help guide you to your issues and help even evolve your issues if that's what you choose. And how to do that. I'm going to teach those techniques on how you can do it yourself. But you need to be willing to want to put that work into it. You know, they always say that success will happen. Well, success doesn't happen unless you put the effort in behind it. And that's what we're doing here. If we want success in our life, we need to put the effort behind our lives. And that's what I'm here to do. So, again, this is my second video for all of you out there. I'm trying to learn and trying to help guide you guys. So, I'm sorry that I haven't processed a whole bunch. But here's at least two. To at least get you to understand a little bit about me. And then we can start to learn about meditation and, you know, breath work and what we need to do to transform. So I'm trying to teach you a little bit behind the dynamics of what created me to help others. Again, I did explain how I had narcissistic situations in my home. How do I explain this? I didn't have an easy childhood, and it was, as I would say, a soap opera. So, if you could call something would happen, it happened in my life. So imagine anything, it probably happened. Well, almost anything within realistic terms here. Um, but again, I can give you guys guidance if you guys want. And I wish you all luck. This is One Butterfly Rose signing off. And I'd like to see all my little butterflies out there one day. Have a good one. Bye for now.